So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and this is new subscriber replay time. Yep, new name, Man in the Can. He's from the WOT 2 clan, which is part of the Havoc X community. Never platooned with Man before, but yeah, I know he's been a long-term viewer of the channel, so thanks for sending these two light tank games in. Oh, and here we go. Ramallanovka. He's in the T37. And it looks like both lots of scouts have been really bold and aggressive, and he got away with that because he spotted both. The enemy Chaffee managed to put a shot in that, and the ELC. Chaffee, both have died now. So good, nice bit of early spotting. Waiting for him not to be spotted anymore. And this is a really nice position if you've got the gumption to come out for it. There's a couple of this map is a really good one for spotting, and if you need spotting damage, the whole Mallanovka map is brilliant. There are multiple locations where you can have a real influence for your team as a light tank, and he's got really nice matchmaking. He's in the T37, which is the tier 6 American light tank. He's got it's a tier 7 game, so he's only, this is as good as it gets in a light tank, because you know that you always get matchmaking as if you are a tier higher medium tank. So tier 7 is what he would get as a best case, and that's exactly what he's got. So he's had a really nice really nice run here, so making the most of it with some good early spots. That OI doesn't seem to have taken quite the pounding that you might have hoped, but some of the other tanks there have done though. There was a Panzer IV got wiped out, the BDR's taken a pounding, so he's done his job. And look at all the damage from spotting coming in. You can see the notifications flicking up under the screen, which is great. I have to say, I haven't used this bush particularly. When I've done the scouting, I've gone really aggressive and gone for that one that's up to the right there, almost in line with that VK. But this is quite a nice spot because you're really not at risk unless the enemy scouts do what they did and push quite hard down the sort of marshy area. You're pretty safe, and I quite like this. I might have to try this out myself. It's a bit safer because also as Man in the Can showed, when he got spotted he was able to pull straight back down that dip, and if you're in a light tank, you're generally quite a small light tank, and therefore you can avoid being spotted, and that was a good thing. However, his team isn't doing that brilliantly. It's only 3 all, and the only downer with when you do a good spotting job for your team is that everything stops moving. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there was a TOG. 9 of his team have just stayed in and around the cap, and of course that means that they also get spotted when they're firing, and that can be a right pain in the bum. So it's a double-edged sword. Oh, and there's a Cromwell. Will he get spotted by the Cromwell? Nope. Cromwell's taken down by the T34-100, who has a fantastic game as well in this one. And he's just doing what good scout players do. Don't be tempted to fire. Just keep the enemy under observation. Light them up. Allow your team to do the damage, because you get half the spotting. You get half the actual credit for the damage as the person actually doing the damage does. So if they do 1,000 damage, and you spotted it, you get 500 of those, and it's a really good way of making a huge amount of extra credits and extra experience, because without the effort really, you just sit in this position, and plus giving your team intelligence of where the enemy is means they've got a far better chance of being able to take the enemy team apart. Now, like IS2 there, he hasn't really been able to move because he's under so much pressure. And you can see Man in the Can has been very, very restrained. He's not fired any shots. He's just keeping everything under watch. And that's what you got to do when you... Oh, now he takes a shot. Oh, that was risky. But he's taken shots against this VK because this VK has been causing real mayhem over here. And he's obviously far enough away that he's not being spotted. Once, can you take him down? He does. Nice job. That VK was being a right pain in the bum for his team. Now he knows that the IS-2 has very poor view range. So he's got a fair chance that he wouldn't be spotted far in there, and I think he just took the calculated guess that there was nobody else. Nice shooting through that tiny hole. Wow, very nice. So I think he took a calculated risk that there was nobody with any significant view range left on the enemy team who would spot him. So he put a bit of damage in that IS-2 and also got the assistance as well for the kill. So he's done 730 damage himself, but he's done a hell of a lot of assistance. There's some more, I would imagine. That was his. And the enemy team is suddenly gone from being fairly even to being 9-6 down. Now the only slight fly in the ointment is that Dicker Max on the enemy team has still not been spotted. And you can see with the mod that we've got here, there's a little question mark beside the Dicker Max, and that means he's not been spotted. The man in the can thinks it's time to move on, and he's probably right. A bit like TDs, you've got to know at what point you stop hiding and stop camping and actually start pushing, because you still have a gun. And there's a TOG. There's a TOG in the cap, and he's completely untouched. So he's being a little bit cautious. Is he going to run up and get behind the buildings? Because that's always a good move with a light tank. You can whisk up. Looks like he's got lock on. The TOG is suffering now, and he's got safely up to the building. And just shoot through the window. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And this TOG just does not know what to do. The gun on this thing is just working him over. Nice amount of damage. Don't think he'll be able to track him. Hasn't got the firepower for that, but he does take the kill. Oh, and there's our friend in the Dicker Mac. Oh, there's a KV-3 sitting in the building. Oh dear, that's a whole different proposition. But he's the last one down. So the Dicker Mac's got taken out, and now our friend can be a little bit more aggressive. He's got premium. He had premium loaded. He's fired a lot of premium. Probably didn't need all that premium, mate, but you know, I don't blame you. Got the side of this KV-3. Can he finish him off? Yes, he can. Very nicely done. Really, really good game. So that ended up being an ace tanker from Man in the Can in the T37. T37 was a tank for some reason I never really got on with. I see people play it so well, and he did a really good job there. Passive scouting at the beginning, and then using its gun to good effect on pretty much helpless tanks that just didn't know whether shit or bust. And that's kind of what you have to do in a light tank. That's the difference between just being an okay light tank driver and a really good light tank driver. Do the job for the team, then do the job for yourself. By doing it for the team, you're doing it for yourself. So in fact, the only damage I think he took in that entire game was right at the very beginning, when that Chaffee and him had a quick exchange of fire, of which the Chaffee came out a lot worse because he got taken down by everybody else. And you can see all the assistance damage he's done here. These green cogs, that's all assistance. So he did a fantastic job. End up with ace tanker, spotter, bruiser, and fire for effect. Where did he finish on the team? Second on the team in base XP, behind that T37, who had a really good game. 3,000 damage from him. But Man in the Can did 1,643 damage, got 3 kills, 1,290 base XP. Outstanding job. Really good job in a light tank, in a tier 6 light tank. So really good job. Fired 20 shots, hit with 16 of them, and of those all 16 of those 16 penetrated, so to speak. He took one hit, which was the one we saw right at the very beginning with that Chaffee, and that was the only damage he took in the entire game. He did just shy of 3,000 assistance damage. Really nice. I hope you didn't need that mission where you needed 3,000, because you were just shy of that, mate. But good job anyway. 48,500 credits. He did, however, fire quite a lot of premium rounds in that. Not sure he necessarily needed them, but I can understand. And he still made a profit of 5,424 with a premium account. If he hadn't been running a premium, would have made a big loss, 10,700 loss. But he had premium and he used it, so good on him. 1935 experience for the game. Really, really nice. And he sent me in another really good light tank. So I don't know whether Man in the Can is a particularly good light tank player or these were just particularly good games. But we're just going to have a look at another one. So this time he's in the Tier 5 American light tank, the Chaffee, which is a lovely little Tier 5 light tank. Obviously it's a light tank, we'll see Tier 6, 7 and 8s. This time again he's got very, very lucky. He's got a Tier 6 game, which means he's effectively top tier, and there aren't many top tier tanks, so there's only 3 on each side. So that's really, really fortunate. It's also Malinovka, which is a light tank's dream, and it's an encounter game this time. Oh, and he comes up here showing off his driving skills with a lovely handbrake turn. Gets up into the obvious light tank position. His binos come up, his camo net goes on, and he's just trying to spot when he can from here. BDR, did he spot that on one of his friends? I'm not entirely sure. It's difficult to tell from this because he's having a few shots. Oh, he's hit the gun on this Chaffee is actually pretty good. I can't remember what size it is. I want to say a 76, somebody can correct me. Maybe it's a 75, but it's a really pokey little gun. He's doing assistance damage, he's doing spotting damage, he's doing actual damage. Clearly the enemy haven't put anything up in the bushes opposite him, otherwise he would be being spotted here. And you know, sometimes you just take your chances. If nobody comes opposite you, you just have to take advantage of as best you can. So some good shots early on. He's done nearly 600 damage already. The game's only, well, a minute and a half old. Now there's finally somebody up opposite him. Matilda 4. Now, is he holding his fire? Yeah, he's holding his fire. Lighting that Matilda up, and again, this is what you need to do as a light tank. You need to hold your fire. If there's enemy that can spot you, just stay hidden. The moment you fire, you reveal your position. Your camo rating plummets, and therefore you need to hold that fire as long as you possibly can. And it's tough because you see juicy targets like this Matilda, but you see there he, oh excuse me, my cat's making a huge amount of noise. Hello Bluebell. Slightly more information than you needed there. Yeah, so he couldn't resist it at that Matilda, but it's probably he was getting a bit worried that the Matilda was getting a bit close, so he decided to have a bit of a shot at him. But the moment he did, he got spotted and he had to pull right back, and so he's lost the benefit of that position. Now that KV1 Sport is further up, he's probably getting all the assistance damage, so you know, his Man in the Can's lost his job effectively. However, that KV1 Sport is probably not, I was going to say he's only not going to live there for very long, but he's actually surviving remarkably well. So he's coming back, have a go at the Matilda. Matilda's obviously forgotten he's here. First shot tracks him, second shot hits him, but he does take, oh no, he doesn't take a hit. He actually manages to avoid the hit, so that's good. So the Matilda is almost dead. It's turning back to this OI. Gonna take a bit of a shot to hit that, penetrate that turret. OI's even on the side, that turret, unless you happen to hit one of the flat spots and get a little bit of a good penetration roll, you're not going to pen those. There's our friend in the Matilda who thinks he's safe, and he is quite angled there, so he's done the right thing. He's aimed for the turret now because that's a flatter surface. The side armour was not. Oh, and he took a hit from the big hit from the Hellcat, took out more than half his health, and that's the problem. And there goes our friend in the KV1 Sport. Couldn't sit out there in the open for too long before he died. And it's very even game still. It's 5-all. In fact, it's extremely even. However, tactically, his team is in a really good space. You can see they pushed all down the 1-2 line, and they're holding the enemy on the hill. So they've got his team effectively have got the enemy in a pincer movement, and that's going to pay huge dividends. So man in the can's back up on his little perch. Oh, I wish you wouldn't swing around so much, mate. Makes me dizzy. Can he get a bit of own back on the Hellcat? Yes, he can. Nicely done. Not sure why the Hellcat's deciding to be a frontline TD up there when really he'd be far better firing the other way back at the guys that are coming down across the open field. But hey ho, that's his problem, not man in the can. So can he get a shot on that? Oh, he can. That Jag Panther 4. Can he finish him off? He's only got a tiny slither of the top of him to see across the top of that bit. Across. I'm talking about lots of acrosses at the top of that slope. Okay, so his team is still losing though, and it's really weird. They're in such a good position. Oh, they go back to 7-all again. The enemy team is pretty battered though. If you look, pretty much all their tanks. Oh, getting drunk just looking at this. Oh, there's our friend in the Matilda. Can he finish him off? He misses. Oh no, come on, get him, finish him. Yes, one up the Jaxie. Good plan. Spinning around, trying to find targets. Oh, can he finish off our friend there? Yes, he can. So he's... And again, another good thing light tanks need to learn to do is just pick up the cheap and easy kills at the end of the game. That's when a light tank comes alive. You can play it fairly, and I'm telling you how to suck heads because I'm not the best light tank player, but I know the principle of it. I just can't always perform it. So you really need to hold your hit points till the end of the game. Try and use your spotting. Oh, nice that Hellcat just stopped as he fired. You need to hold your hit points, keep spotting, keep the enemy observed. Wait until the end game when you've got a chance to use those hit points that you've saved up. You can see in this game he took one hit from that Hellcat, and he lost half of his health, but that's the only hit he's taken all game. And this Chaffee is a nice little tank. It's got a good little gun. It's very, very mobile, as all light tanks are. I did think at one point he was going to head up the south of the one line, come up behind the enemy tanks, and that may have been a better idea, but he probably thought he'd better off going with his friends, because he is still just a light tank. The enemy still have 2 Hellcats that can one-shot him, an OI that can one-shot him, and they only have to get lucky once. They just have to spin their turret around and blast him. Sorry, a bit of a stutter on the game here. Don't know why that was. Maybe the replay, maybe my computer's having a bit of lag. Oh, and there's our friend in the Hellcat. Oh, just in time. So okay, so he came round, he got relocated where he could cover that KV-1 who's in the cap. I guess if he'd gone around the one line, he probably would have seen that Hellcat anyway. But he did the right job. He covered it off, and that's he's playing the light tank covering game. And here comes the Hellcat, another Hellcat. Can he finish? Oh, bounces off his Hellcat, stops. Bad mistake. And there we go. There's another one dead. He's now got 5 kills. Can he get the? Oh, there's a Churchill. I haven't seen him for a while. Firing as he goes, and when your teammate gets on the cap, it is like moth to a flame. Is that the expression? So he's got his top gun, 6 kills, 1800 damage. Really, really good game. There's just that OI left. He's only got 5 rounds of AP and 4 rounds of AP and 5 of HE. It looks like he's going to go up around the back of the OI. Or can he get a side shot on the OI from here? Well, this will be a shot because he's below him, which means the angling's better, but it doesn't matter. That shot goes straight and true, hits the OI in the side, and that is 7 kills. Nice game. So yet again, another ace tanker. You got the Bruiser and you got Fire for Effect, obviously high caliber, and also the Top Gun for getting 7 kills. You got Top Gun for 6, but he got 7. And that's the Chaffee. I mean, Chaffee's a lovely little tank, and I have to say I have a bit of a soft spot for it. If you're from my sort of generation that grew up on sort of probably politically incorrect war films now. It was something that a lot of the early war films used to denote tanks on both sides, and I have vivid memories of battle scenes featuring tanks that are coloured out or camoed up as if they're German tanks, and they're actually Chaffees against American tanks that are also Chaffees. I presume because at the end of when they were decommissioned, they had so many Chaffees left over that they were cheap and easy to acquire to use as extras in war films. And it's a nice looking tank. It's a really nice looking tank. It plays well. I might have to go back and get it because I haven't played it for a long time, and when I did, I probably was even worse at this game than I am now. So I'd like to go back and play the Chaffee again. So how did he finish up? Well, no surprise, top of the team on both damage and XP, and obviously kills. He didn't. In fact, he finished top of all both teams on damage. 1908 damage, 7 kills, 1304 base XP. Monstrous game. Fired a massive 37 shots, hit with 27 of them and penned with 21. Again, he used a fair bit of premium, but yeah, when you have a game like that, go with the flow, I reckon. Took just one hit, and that was that Hellcat that took out more than half his health. The only danger, obviously, when you're in a light tank is that generally light tanks have, on the whole, have good guns, but of course what they lack is armor and hit points, and so they can't take a pounding, and he took one hit and managed to avoid any more for the rest of the game. This time only did 373 assistance, so this was more of a battling light tank performance. He got in the right positions to spot things, but the trouble is a lot of his team just kept trundling forward, getting killed, but doing the spotting for him. So that KV-1 Sport, for instance, he didn't do that much just assistance either. Oh well, whatever. He didn't, so that's the way it works out. So he fired, as I say, 37 shots, ended up with 37,662 gross credits, but a lot of costs because of firing all the APCR rounds. Finished up with just a profit of 6,698. Would have been a loss again if he'd been running a non-premium account, but he wasn't, so he used his account the right way. You know, if you win and you win well, almost doesn't matter how much premium rounds you fire in lower tier games, because you will still end up making a profit, and that's what he did. 1958 base XP times 2, just shy of 4,000 for that game. If he hadn't been running premium, would have been 2,600. So there you go. A really nice game to finish up in the Chaffee after that T37 game, which was also extremely good. So thanks for sending that one in, mate. I really appreciate it. He contacted me through Facebook saying, how do you send them? Through YouTube, how do you send in videos? So if you're interested and you want to send me some of your games you think are really good and should be featured on the channel, just do what Man in the Can did. Upload it to the WOT replay site. Send me the link, not the video, not the whole file. Just send me the link to where it is on that on WOT replays. To my email address, gamerdom13@gmail.com, just to give me a little description of why you think it's a good one. Promise to have a look at it, and if I think it's going to be interesting to the channel, I'll stick it up. So do what Man in the Can did and send me a review. Send me your games to have a look at. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like, and if you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you a thing, and you get to see when I post new content up on the site. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun. Remember, it is just a game, and try and enjoy it. And I'll see you again soon. Gamer Dom.